Hi Parth, what's up, Barry?
Hello,
Hello,
Parth. How are you?
good,
Super.
good. How are you?
Glad to have you here, bro. So, Shaurya Mehta this side from Top Line Set.
Shashank. Shashank this side, again from Top Line Selling.
Yeah. And we've got Parth here, Parth Ambekar from Bombay. I'm gonna give you a sec to introduce yourself, Parth, before we get into the questions. Yeah. So why don't you take a sec to introduce yourself and tell the audience who you are and what you've been doing for the last 3 months.
Okay, so this is Parth here, this side from Mumbai, and I have been into sales since 2025 January. I started as a appointment setter and gradually get into closing. So at first I was closing for a small ticket size of 15-20,000, but then I spoke with Shaurya and then he got me into an offer for a price range of 75 to 1 lakh rupees. So that was a big change for me. And then eventually I started working with him and then I got into the high ticket industry.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Awesome. So basically, the whole purpose of this video is for anybody who's watching. Let's say they are wondering, ki, okay, should I get into sales, remote sales specifically or not? And or should I work with Shaurya and Shashank or not? It's for them to understand, ki, okay, number one, remote sales is important and people can actually do it. So
Mhm,
I think the questions that I have are going to be around that as well, right? On why people should possibly consider remote sales. And you are a young person like we all are, and
mhm.
सबको MBA and all करने का plan होता है. But if I have to talk about before and after, like January के पहले, what were you doing? I think you had a startup, Enhanza, something like that.
Yeah, that was a side business kind of thing. But before that, I was working as a in a marketing agency. So I was into marketing properly because I studied that. But then eventually I found out about sales and everything from it was basically from the US industry. But then I found out कि India में भी हो रहा है ये चीज़. So I was like, let me just give it a shot. Then I started working as an appointment setter and then eventually I grew.
Awesome.
What basically attracted you towards sales specifically?
So it was like when I was working in the marketing industry, it was like no matter how much work you do, you're just gonna get a specific amount of salary. And that
Hmm.
was like, okay, this is not the kind of person I want to be where I'm working like 9-10 hours and still getting the bare minimum, which is not the
Okay.
suitable thing for me that I would say. Because as I aspire to grow eventually, I don't want to be a guy who is in his 30s earning only 1 lakh rupees per month. So that is not my
Hmm.
goal. My goal is to go beyond that. So marketing was not something that was going to take me there. So I had to change the vehicle. So I knew that sales is something that whatever energy and hard work that I'm putting into it is gonna give me the fruits. It's not key,
Hmm.
no matter how much I do, it's gonna still be. So that was the thing that attracted me towards sales.
Understood.
हाँ जी, Barry, you
ठीक
were.
है. I have a very curious question because, of course, once you're looking at an industry from the outside, it looks very glamorous. All this laptop lifestyle, working from Goa, right?
Yeah.
So what did you realize, Path, after once you have joined the industry, it's been a couple of months, you're working with some top coaches as well right now.
Mhm.
So like about high ticket closing overall as an industry, what have you realized? What's the difference between the dream that you had versus the reality?
I mean, I've always been like a realistic person, so I've never had this that within 2-3 months I'm just gonna go crazy with money and everything. I had this expectation that yeah, I'll make good amount of money to
Hmm.
make a sustainable life. So that is something that I'm doing now. But the question is that what was the reality? If the industry is like in India, it's pretty new right now. So most people don't know that what this is. And
Hmm.
most people struggle to understand this. They feel like this is some kind of MLM kind of marketing thing, which it's
Hmm.
not, but that's what the idea is about high ticket sales. So eventually when I got in, I thought कि हाँ ठीक है यार call कर लेंगे बात कर लेंगे but when it gets uh, to the numbers, the volume increases, then it gets tough. So when I was doing appointment setting, at first I was doing like 20-30 calls because I was
Hmm.
new. But then the coach said that no, you have to do 100 calls per day. Then it got tough because you have to speak with those people and those people sometimes are not the nicest person in the world. So
Mhm.
you get that you have to hear things that you don't even deserve,
Fair
right?
enough.
So you have to be strong about it.
Do you feel like the kind of rejections you faced, has it helped you in any shape or form in the last couple of months?
Yeah, it has helped me a lot
How?
because I'm an introvert. Okay. So speaking with new people is like a biggest thing for me. So
Mm.
I've overcome that. Now I'm okay with speaking with random people on occasions.
Hmm.
So the rejections have kind of felt me like, okay, ठीक है, rejection ही तो है, ना बोल दिया, अभी इसको वापस थोड़ी मिलना है, कि इसको ऐसे पकड़ के रखना है, उसको पटाना थोड़ी है, गर्लफ्रेंड थोड़ी है,
Two
इम्प्रेस
questions.
भी करना है.
Two questions. Since you mentioned you're an
Yeah.
introvert, do you feel being an introvert has helped you sell better? But that's what I've observed in the last 7 years that people who are introverted, they are selling way better. So you think that's made a difference?
I mean, if I think about it really hard,
Or let
then
me
like,
reframe it because a
okay.
lot of people out there are introverts, right? I say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure like not a lot of people would like to just go and talk to people randomly. But that shouldn't stop them from being into sales because it's a people-based,
Yeah.
career. So what would you say to
Mhm.
another, person who knows he's an introvert, he or she, but they want to make money, they want to do something, they want to learn some skills. What would you say to them? Because you overcome
I
that.
would say, I would say seek discomfort because being introvert is basically being in your comfort zone, not
Hmm.
speaking to people. That's your choice that you're making.
Fair.
But I knew that at some point I should not be an introvert because that is not gonna help me grow as a person. Because that is the kind of person who is always isolated, always in the dark. Even if they are in the group, they are not the person who has the attention a lot. So I didn't want to be that person. So I chose ki, okay, if I wanna be an extrovert or at least somewhere in the middle, I have to speak with people. So I was like, okay, I don't care what I have to do. I will just do it. So that was my thing.
Like a do or die sort of mindset.
Yeah.
Pretty,
Got it.
pretty
I
cool.
like to shift the tangent a bit. I would want to understand since, of course, Parth, you were doing appointment setting previously, then
Mm-hmm.
you basically learned high ticket closing, jumped into this industry of closing bigger deals. So, number one question would be like, what new things did you learn in order to learn this art of high ticket sales? Was it completely similar to appointment setting, or were there new things that you learned? And what was that journey like, that transition period from appointment setter to becoming a closer for you?
So the journey, I would say, when I was doing appointment setting, it was kind of like outbound. It was not inbound. So the leads were cold. Say they didn't know much about. So we had to like bring out the pain points and everything on the call itself. So it was similar to closing, but since closing is already where the lead is nurtured and everything, so they have an idea who you are, what exactly they are looking for. But when it's outbound, most people have that resistance की बात ही नहीं करना, I don't want to speak even if they have a problem. तो वो जो barriers है उनको नीचे लाने के लिए you have to like speak very direct and also in a way that they feel that this is something that they need to work on, because these people are just like scrolling on internet, they found something and
Hmm.
got the lead from there. So we have to make them understand कि क्या चल रहा है और क्यों, why it is important to work on it.
Hmm.
But in closing, they already know that they need to work on it. It's just about the action they need to take.
Hmm.
That's the major difference. तो वहां पे appointment setting में I had to make them understand कि you need to work on this, and closing में I had to make them understand that you need to start working on it in terms of action.
Got it. And in terms of the skills part, if I had to be more specific with the question, in terms of your own skills, what things did you have to actually develop, learn in order to become a closer from a setter?
Uh, First of all was not getting zoned out because as an introvert, like I'm not used to speaking with people for a longer period, like 5-10 minutes, fine. But when you're doing like a call duration of 1 hour, you have to constantly be awake and aware about what they are saying.
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
is one of the biggest thing that I was like, because even when I was selling fitness, I was closing for like 15, 20K ticket size. Even there, I was getting a bit zoned out when they were speaking about their problems. But then I was like, no, this has to stop. So I used to keep a chilled glass water. So whenever I used to zone out, I just touch it, get back into it, and concentrate over here. So that is something that I had to do because of what I was before. And then in terms of sales specific, I had to understand to widen the gap. One of the biggest thing, because every time the prospect would give me a surface level answer, I was accepting it. So that changed eventually, where I was not accepting. I had to probe into it. And then another thing is that while I was practicing the scripts, I kind of put into a practice that every question that I am asking, what are the acceptable answers to it, right? So I noted that down and I was like, okay, if I do not get this answer, I'm not moving forward. So that is something that I recently learned during the last month.
Yes.
Nice.
That's fair enough. I think a lot of people miss that where they accept surface level answers. Even we've done it. Framework is one thing. What apart from framework, like talking about numbers now, because sales is all about numbers ultimately. So
Mm-hmm,
थोड़ा stats बता आपने, like how many last offer that you were on, like I think right now you're preparing to start closing on another offer, but last
mm-hmm,
offer, like how much did you produce, what kind of, how many calls did you take, and what was your daily routine like in
mm-hmm,
terms of doing the sales calls, data sheet, the process. Because see, people are only thinking, ki, oh, man, I want to be a princess closer. I'll get some inbound leads. I'll get on an offer. I'll get some commission. Oh, high ticket, high ticket, high ticket. But I'm guessing now it's different because a lot of things come before and after sales. So can you walk
mm-hmm,
people through that along with your numbers so that people have a realistic idea as to this is reality and it takes a minute to build something fruitful?
mm-hmm. Got it. So overall, in terms of routine, I used to begin the day with either trading with you guys, like trading sessions in the week. And if there's no training, of course, get into the meetings and be ready for it. And throughout the day, by the end of the day, you have to write down what happened on the call, what was the outcome, do I have to follow up, do I not have to follow up. All of those should be put down in one place, the EOD report, along with the data sheet where you note down the amount of the number of meetings you have booked in, then also the live calls, and also if they converted or not, and also the offers that you made, how many offers you made. So that was the whole routine. Wake up, train, then get into the meetings, update the sheet and EOD. That was the routine for
Just
me.
to add on one thing here, is it safe to say that if somebody is bragging that, okay, oh, laptop lifestyle, is it safe to say that it's not that easy? You have to give it a minute to really have a routine wherever you are, and then only you can actually do sales. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, and of course you have to do that, because if you're not putting into the data sheet and everything, you don't exactly have an idea about how good you're doing or how bad you're doing. So
100%.
it's just in your mind where you are like, okay, मैं तो अच्छा कर रहा हूँ लेकिन कुछ सेल ही नहीं आया, या फिर सेल तो एक दो ही आए हैं compared to what it should have been. If you are doing like 40 calls a month and then you are only selling one deal, then it's not good. But in
Hmm.
your mind, you're like, हाँ ठीक है, sell तो किया. But when you see those numbers, you get that realization कि हाँ भाई मैंने इतने कॉल लिया और इतना ही हुआ है बस, या फिर इतने कॉल लिया है इतना हुआ है, how much more better should I be getting? So to track that, it is very necessary to in the work.
That makes sense because obviously, I mean,
Hmm.
not to flatter you, but you've been very consistent. But I think you still have a good amount of time to gain those reps on a validated offer and keep doing that every single day.
Yeah,
So numbers to the grow करने. I think you've not yet did like have done like 100 calls in a month in terms of inbound closing. So
yeah.
I think until you reach that level, which is gonna happen soon, you'll
Hmm.
get the full gist of being into sales. Coming to talking about us, because I think we've been talking since July when I was hiring for a client of mine. So I think
Hmm.
July, June से हम लोग connected है. How has the experience been overall with like working with me and Shashank and top line selling overall?
Hmm. So like we spoke on LinkedIn and then we got on a call and the vibe was like super good. I was like, okay, this guy is kind of chill and everything. And we had a bit in common, usability and सारी चीजें. So फिर I was like, okay, let's do it करके. Then we got in. The onboarding process was super smooth. Everything went well. Then सारी चीजों का जो access होता है कि कैसे step by step training है. I got access to that. फिर वो ट्रेनिंग होने के बाद फिर जब भी लाइव कॉल्स पे एक्चुअली जब भी इन प्रैक्टिस लाना स्टार्ट किया देन वी गॉट टू सी कि हाँ ठीक है कहाँ पे वर्क करना है कहाँ नहीं एंड देन इवेंचुअली जब भी actual calls लेना मैंने स्टार्ट किया देन आई स्टार्टेड गेटिंग द फीडबैक फ्रॉम यू गाइस व्हिच वाज सुपर हेल्पफुल क्योंकि इफ आई एम नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि कहाँ गलतियां हो रही है तो फिर मैं उसको फिक्स नहीं कर पाता.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Where you were gonna ask
ठीक
something?
है.
I want
Yep.
to know one more thing though. Like when you say feedback, like everybody can give feedback, people can give feedback to themselves. What is the needle mover? Like अभी 4 महीने हो गए. And there's no get rich quick scheme sort of thing any which way. People have to, even if you have a mentor, even if you have somebody guiding you, you will have to dip your own feet, haggle a bit, see what's up, what's not. For you, what was the needle mover? Like we work together now, abhi bhi chal raha hai. It's gonna go on and hopefully for a very long time. But what's been a needle mover if you have to like pinpoint one thing only for somebody who's like, on the fence? Some
Mm-hmm.
viewer of this video on my LinkedIn or paid ads or whatever is thinking कि यार मैं करूँ sales नहीं करूँ मैं should I do this or no? And especially even keeping us in the picture कि okay should I sign up with TLS or no? What's been a needle mover and what would you say to that viewer कि okay like this is something that should be done?
Like for me, it was like even when I was like feeling low, I've spoken to you guys about it कि यार पता नहीं I'm feeling negative thoughts आते हैं सारी चीजें होते हैं but like you guys were there for तभी भी कि हाँ but this is the reality but you have to do the work you have to put in the work so that was the main thing for me क्योंकि लोग आएंगे लोग तो बोल देंगे कि हाँ ठीक है नहीं हो रहा है तेरे से तो चले जाओ but you guys didn't take that approach. You guys were like, "नहीं तेरे से होगा. You have the potential and everything." That was like the major thing that I really liked about you guys. जहाँ पे I was in a tough spot, so for you took care of me and everything. So in terms of learning, in terms of everything, if someone who is like doubtful about or skeptical about getting into sales and everything, it's just that take that leap of faith because there's like not it's not the worst thing that could happen to you even if you do learn something and for any xyz reason you're not able to be the best out of it. It's still okay, you're still learning something out of it. It's just that whether you did or you did not, that's what
Hmm.
matters.
Nice. I love the way you put it.
Perfect.
Superman, thanks for sharing that.
Awesome. Just one last question. The past 4 months, of course, it's been a good journey for you. You have grown. We have seen you growing. You have faced challenges, all the ups and the downs. If you had to summarize it in that entire experience so far of 4 months, let's say in a sentence, what would it be?
I would say that still in progress because I'm still building up and I'm still getting to the point where I'm just, I can just close anyone even after I just wake up. That kind of skill set I'm still going to work at. And overall, I would say the experience is just amazing because every day somebody new gives me some kind of objection or some kind of thinking or a mindset that is new to me. क्या ये ऐसा कैसे सोच सकता है? So like getting into that is like a new thing for me. And it is kind of exciting where you speak with people and they share about whatever problem they have and the kind of people that are out there. So it is really, amazing to see the types of people that are out.
For
Nice.
sure. Definitely, there are a good variety of people out there.
You'll come across
Perfect. Thanks.
cocky, arrogant people
Uh,
as well in sales, but that'll be, I think you have already, no? You've already come
he
across.
has
Yeah.
already, yeah.
Yeah, we were those calls. Perfect, yeah. Parth, really appreciate you for doing this and thanks for your time. I hope all of this was truthful and raw and as honest as possible for
Yeah.
anybody seeing this. Cool. Superman, I'll be in touch. I'll see you.
Perfect.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Parth, for the time. See you.
See you.
Cheers.
Bye.